There are moments in life when it feels like God has paused your story. You pray, you believe, you show up, but the doors stay closed, the answers stay silent, and your faith starts to shake. But hear me, God has not forgotten about you. You are still in his plan. The delay is not rejection, it's preparation. Sometimes God takes his time because he's not just building your blessing. He's building you. He's shaping your character, your endurance, your faith muscles. Because when the promise comes, he wants you strong enough to carry it. Stay strong in the middle of your not yet. Because if God started it, he will finish it. That's his nature. He's not a halfway God. He doesn't write beginnings and forget endings. He's the author and the finisher. The same hands that placed you in that season will also lift you out when the time is right. I know you're tired. I know you're wondering when it's going to happen for you. But strength isn't about pretending everything's okay. Strength is when you keep trusting while it hurts. It's when you keep showing up even when you want to disappear. It's when you whisper prayers through tears and still say, God, I believe. You see, some of your greatest strength is being born in your darkest chapter. God is using the very thing that broke you to build you. Don't rush the process. You're being refined. Every delay has direction. Every detour has destiny written on it. You think it's falling apart, but heaven says it's coming together. What looks like an ending to you might just be the setup for the new beginning he's been preparing. The same God who opened the Red Sea, who raised the dead, who turned mourning into dancing, he's still the same today. You may not see the full picture yet, but stay strong. Don't let the silence make you lose faith. God's silence is often the sound of him working. He's behind the scenes aligning, arranging, preparing everything you prayed for in ways you can't even imagine. Stay strong because you're not fighting alone. The battle may be hard, but victory is already written in your story. The same power that began this journey will bring it to completion. So lift your head, wipe your tears, straighten your crown, because what God started in your life, he will finish. Not partially, but perfectly. Stay strong. The story isn't over yet. Strength doesn't mean the absence of struggle. It means you keep moving even when everything in you wants to stop. It's standing tall with shaking hands and a trembling heart, refusing to let your situation define your spirit. Real strength is quiet. It's not always loud or confident. It's often hidden behind tears, whispered prayers, and sleepless nights. It's what keeps you getting out of bed when your mind is heavy and your heart feels like it's breaking. It's choosing to show up even when life has knocked you down 100 times before. Strength isn't something you find when things are easy. It's discovered when you have every reason to give up, but somehow you don't. Sometimes God allows the struggle to expose the strength he placed inside you. You think you're breaking down, but he's actually building you up. You think you're being buried, but you're really being planted. The weight you're carrying isn't meant to destroy you. It's meant to develop you. Every tear, every disappointment, every unanswered prayer is part of the process. Because if everything came easily, you'd never know the power you truly carry. You'd never understand that God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. When you reach the end of yourself, that's when his strength begins to rise. You may look around and wonder why others seem to have it easier, why your journey feels heavier, longer, but your strength is being shaped through the storms they never had to face. God trusted you with that mountain because he knew it wouldn't crush you. It would teach you how to climb. You are stronger than you realize, not because of your own power, but because of who walks beside you. When life hits hard, remember this strength is not pretending to be fine. It's allowing yourself to feel, to heal, and to still believe in the midst of pain. There will be days when you want to quit, when your prayers seem to bounce back in silence. But hold on, strength grows in silence. God is doing more in your stillness than you could ever accomplish in your striving. You're not weak because you cry. You're not faithless because you question. You're human, and that's where grace meets you. Strength is continuing to trust God even when the evidence says you shouldn't. It's believing that he is working, even when nothing seems to change. So when you feel like you've got nothing left, remember you've survived every hard day before this one. You are not defined by the struggle. You are defined by the way you rise through it. Strength doesn't mean you never fall. It means you get back up every single time. You are proof that pain can produce power, that faith can flourish in fire, and that God's grace can turn weakness into unshakable strength. Keep standing, keep believing. Because the very thing that tried to break you is what's making you unstoppable. God doesn't start something he won't finish. When he begins a work in your life, he already sees the end from the beginning. He doesn't make promises to leave them unfulfilled, and he doesn't plant purpose in you just to watch it die. Every single thing he has spoken over you has an appointed time, even if it feels delayed. Sometimes we forget that the same God who called us is the same God who will complete what he started. You are not forgotten, and you are not abandoned in the middle of your story. God's plans do not expire just because the process is taking longer than you expected. There are seasons when it feels like God pressed pause on your life. You start to wonder if you misheard him or if you made a mistake somewhere along the way. But the truth is, divine timing is not human timing. God finishes things in his rhythm, not yours. He works behind the scenes, aligning people, preparing doors, and refining your heart so that when the promise comes, you'll be ready to hold it. He's not slow, he's strategic. He's not silent because he's forgotten. He's silent because he's working. You see, the enemy wants you to believe that because it hasn't happened yet. It never will. He whispers lies that make you doubt the process, that make you question if God really said what you think he said. But God is faithful. He never leaves his work undone. If he started to heal you, he will finish that healing. If he started to restore you, he will bring that restoration to completion. If he began transforming you, you better believe he'll finish molding you into exactly who he designed you to be. Even in your detours, God's hand is steady. He doesn't lose focus like we do. We get distracted by fear, by failure, by people walking away, but God remains constant. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. His promises don't shift with your emotions. He's still finishing the masterpiece he began, even if right now all you can see are broken pieces. Sometimes the reason he hasn't finished yet is because you're still learning something vital in the middle. He doesn't rush development. He allows the struggle so that the completion will be strong and lasting. If you received everything you prayed for too soon, you might not be ready to keep it. So he takes his time. He shapes, he prunes, he refines because he wants what he finishes in your life to last. So don't lose faith in the waiting. Don't let impatience make you doubt what God is building. You might not see the full picture, but he's already written the final chapter. God doesn't make empty beginnings. If he started something in you, he's not done until it's perfect. Stay steady, stay faithful. Because the same God who began the good work is the same God who will finish it with glory, beauty, and purpose. Delay isn't denial, it's divine development. What feels like a waiting season is often God's preparation season. You might be looking around, wondering why everyone else seems to be moving forward while you're standing still. But what if God is using this pause to build something inside you that can't be shaken? Sometimes he holds you back not because he's punishing you, but because he's protecting you. He knows the exact timing that will bring you peace, favor, and lasting growth. The delay is not the end. It's the classroom where your faith matures, your patience strengthens, and your dependence on him deepens. We often mistake silence for rejection. When doors don't open, when prayers seem unanswered, we assume God has said no. But in reality, he may just be saying, not yet. He's working on details you can't see. He's setting the stage, aligning people, and preparing the right environment for what's coming next. The things that are delayed are often the ones that carry the greatest destiny. You can't rush something that God intends to make eternal. What he's preparing for you is worth the wait. The problem is that we live in a world that worships speed. We want quick answers, quick blessings, quick change. But God isn't in a hurry. He's not moved by deadlines. He's moved by destiny, and destiny requires development. Every great story in the Bible had a delay. Joseph waited years in a prison before the palace. David was anointed long before he became king. Even Jesus waited 30 years before he began his ministry. God uses the waiting to refine what's within you so that when the time comes, you're not just ready for the blessing, you're mature enough to sustain it. So if it feels like God is taking too long, remember this, he's not late, he's intentional. There's something he's doing in the background that you would never understand if he tried to explain it right now. The delay is the evidence of his care. He's not withholding. He's cultivating. He's not ignoring your prayers. He's perfecting the promise. The very thing that feels like it's being delayed is being divinely timed for your good. You may not see progress, but you are growing. Every waiting season carries hidden strength. Every unanswered prayer shapes your perspective. Every not yet from God is preparing you to handle the yes with gratitude and wisdom. Don't let the delay make you doubt your purpose. Don't let the waiting make you question your worth. God hasn't forgotten you. He's just perfecting what concerns you. So breathe, be still. Trust his timing even when it doesn't match your own. The delay isn't a dead end, it's divine direction. One day you'll look back and realize the waiting wasn't wasted. It was the foundation for everything God was about to release into your life. No, what's coming is worth every second you've had to wait. You're still in his hands even when you can't feel him. There are seasons where God feels silent, where prayers seem to hit the ceiling and your spirit feels heavy under the weight of uncertainty. In those moments, it's easy to think he's gone, that maybe you took a wrong turn, that maybe his presence has left you. But that's a lie the enemy wants you to believe. Because even in the silence, Even in the pain, even in the confusion, you are still in the hands of a faithful God. His grip on you is stronger than your grip on him. When you can't hold on anymore, he's still holding you. Faith isn't built in moments of clarity. It's built in moments of uncertainty. When you can't trace him, you must trust him. When you can't feel him, you must remember that feelings are fleeting, but his presence is constant. God doesn't disappear when life gets hard. He doesn't walk away when you stumble. His hands are steady. His love unchanging, his plan intact. You may not see the evidence right now, but he's still guiding you through the storm. Sometimes God hides to teach us how to seek. He allows silence to stretch our faith, to make us stronger, to help us depend on his word more than our emotions. You might be praying and hearing nothing, but silence doesn't mean absence. It means trust is being tested. It's in these quiet places that God teaches you who he really is. He's not just the God of blessings. He's the God who holds you together when everything falls apart. Think about it. When a child is learning to walk, the parent doesn't hold their hand forever. Sometimes they step back, not to abandon the child, but to help them develop balance and confidence. God does the same. When he seems distant, he's actually growing your faith. He's teaching you to stand, to walk, to trust that even when you can't feel his hand, his eyes are still on you. You're still in his hands when people walk away. You're still in his hands when doors close. You're still in his hands when life doesn't go as planned. His hands are not careless. They're the same hands that formed the universe, parted the sea, healed the broken, and raised the dead. If those hands can hold the world together, they can hold you too. You don't need to feel his presence to be secure in his promise. Feelings fade, but truth remains. And the truth is this: you are never alone. Even when you're walking through shadows, his light surrounds you. Even when your heart is breaking, his love is holding the pieces. So don't let the silence fool you. God hasn't left you. He's just closer than you think. You're still in his hands, and his hands never fail. Broken seasons prepare you for blessed ones. The moments that shattered you weren't meant to destroy you. They were meant to shape you. The heartbreak, the betrayal, the disappointment, the loneliness, they all carry lessons that your comfort could never teach. You don't grow on the mountaintop. You grow in the valley. You don't learn strength from ease. You learn it from struggle. The pain you went through wasn't wasted. It was producing something inside you, something stronger, deeper, and more unshakable than what you had before. God often breaks what he intends to bless, not to harm you, but to rebuild you into the version of yourself that can carry the weight of your destiny. There's purpose in your pain, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. When God allows something to break, he's not leaving you in pieces. He's rearranging them. He's removing what was temporary so he can make space for what's eternal. You may have lost something, but you didn't lose everything. What remains after the breaking is what's real, what's strong, what's ready. Every tear you cried wide watered the soil for something new to grow. Every closed door redirected you toward the one meant for you. You might feel like you're in ruins, but to God, you're under reconstruction. Sometimes the breaking feels cruel. It hurts to lose what you thought you couldn't live without. It hurts when people you love turn their backs on you, when dreams crumble, when plans fall apart. But every loss that God allows is followed by a lesson that refines you. He uses the breaking to strip away pride, to expose hidden wounds, to heal what you never realized was bleeding. And when he finishes, you'll realize the version of you that survived the storm is far stronger than the version that entered it. Think about it. Before a seed can grow, it has to be buried. It has to break open in darkness before it ever reaches the light. The breaking is necessary for the blooming. In the same way, God allows your broken season because it's the only way to bring out your fruit. What looks like the end is really the beginning of something holy. The pain that once made you cry will one day make you wise. The same scars that remind you of the breaking will later remind you of the blessing. So don't curse the season that broke you. Bless it because it made you. Thank God that he didn't let you stay comfortable, because comfort would have killed your calling. The breaking season didn't come to destroy you. It came to prepare you. Every broken moment is building strength for the next chapter of your life. You're not finished. You're being refined, and soon the blessing will make sense of the breaking. What was once painful will become powerful, because God always turns brokenness into beauty. Don't quit in the middle. The miracle is still forming. The hardest part of any journey isn't the beginning, when hope feels fresh, or the end, when victory is near. It's the middle. The middle is where you get tired, where progress feels invisible, where faith starts to fade. The middle is where you question if it's worth it. If God really said what you thought he said, if your prayers are even being heard. But this is exactly where God does his most powerful work. The middle is the proving ground of faith, the place where you learn to walk by trust and not by sight. You can't see it yet, but something sacred is happening behind the scenes. It's easy to believe in the beginning. It's easy to celebrate at the end, but in the middle, when the waiting gets long and the answers seem far away, that's where you find out what your faith is made of. The middle is messy. It's where dreams look distant, promises feel empty, and your heart grows weary from carrying hope that feels too heavy. But the miracle is not lost. It's still forming. God doesn't stop working just because you're tired of waiting. He's not done shaping what he started. You can't see it, but he's aligning every piece, preparing every step, and weaving every detail into your purpose. You might be standing in the middle of a storm thinking nothing good can come out of this, but storms don't stop destiny, they strengthen it. The middle is where endurance is built. It's where your heart learns to hold on to faith when nothing makes sense. You are not stuck. You are being stretched. God is teaching you persistence because the blessing you're praying for will require the strength that only comes from pressing through the middle. If you quit now, you'll never see the full picture of what he's creating. Think about the caterpillar. It must sit in the cocoon before it can fly. The middle stage looks like darkness, like stillness, like nothing is happening, but transformation is taking place where no one can see. That's what God is doing with you. You are in your cocoon moment, being reshaped, renewed, prepared for what's next. The middle may be uncomfortable, but it's not meaningless. It's necessary. So don't give up. Don't walk away just because you don't see results yet. The breakthrough often comes right after the point where most people quit. God didn't bring you this far to leave you halfway. He's not a halfway God. He's a finisher. Stay faithful in the middle because the miracle is maturing. The pain, the waiting, the silence, it's all part of the process. One day, you'll look back and realize the middle was the moment you became who God designed you to be. Hold on. The miracle is still forming, and it's worth every step. Every tear is evidence that you're still fighting. You may not see it, but your tears are a sign of strength, not weakness. They mean your heart is still tender, still open, still believing even after everything you've been through. God collects every single tear you cry. Not one goes unnoticed. They are liquid prayers, words your mouth couldn't form, but your soul still whispered. Each tear carries meaning, carrying pain, hope, and surrender all at once. Don't be ashamed of your tears. They tell the story of a warrior who refused to give up, even when life kept throwing storms your way. Sometimes we think being strong means being silent. We hide our pain, mask our struggles, and tell the world we're okay while we're breaking on the inside. But tears are not a sign of defeat. They are proof that you still care, that you still have faith, that you still have a fight left inside you. Even Jesus wept. He wasn't ashamed to feel deeply. So why should you be? Your tears don't make you fragile. They make you real. They mean you haven't grown numb to your own humanity. Every tear that falls is watering something in your future. God uses your pain as the soil for your purpose. You may not see it now, but one day you'll understand that the tears you cried in private were preparing you for the joy you'll experience in public. The same ground soaked with tears will one day bloom with blessings. Don't curse the season that made you cry. It's building something eternal in you. God sees your tears as faith in motion, as proof that even when you don't have answers, you're still leaning on him. It's okay to have nights where you cry yourself to sleep. It's okay to have days when your strength feels gone. But even in those moments, you're still showing up, still breathing, still believing that somehow, some way, God will make it all make sense. And that, right there, is victory. The fight isn't always loud. Sometimes it's just getting out of bed when your heart is heavy. Sometimes it's choosing hope when despair feels easier. Sometimes it's whispering, God, I trust you, through tears that won't stop falling. One day, you'll see the purpose behind every tear. You'll realize that they weren't wasted. They were transforming you. They softened your heart, deepened your empathy, and built your resilience. Your tears are not signs of failure. They are signs of growth. They mean you survived what tried to break you. So let them fall when they need to. Let them cleanse you, strengthen you, and remind you that you're still in the fight. Because if you still have tears, you still have hope. And if you still have hope, that means God isn't finished with your story yet. God's silence doesn't mean he left. It means he's working. There are times in life when you pray and nothing seems to happen. You search for a sign, a word, a feeling, something to reassure you that he's still there, but all you hear is silence. That silence can feel like abandonment. Like maybe you've done something wrong, like maybe heaven has turned its back on you. But the truth is, silence is not absence. Silence is strategy. When God is quiet, it's not because he's forgotten you. It's because he's preparing something far beyond what you can see. Think about it. When a teacher is silent during a test, no, it's not because they're gone. It's because it's time for the student to apply what they've already learned. That's what God does. When he's quiet, he's watching to see how you walk by faith, how you stand firm, how you trust him when you can't feel him. He's not punishing you, he's positioning you. The silence is proof that something is shifting in the unseen realm. God is still moving, still orchestrating, still making a way, even if your natural eyes can't see it yet. We often equate activity with progress. We think if we don't hear God, he must not be doing anything. But God does his best work in silence. Seeds grow underground, hidden from sight. The baby in the womb develops in darkness. The foundation of every great thing is formed in the unseen. God's silence doesn't mean inactivity. It means incubation. Something holy is forming behind the curtain, and when the time is right, it will emerge in full glory. Don't misinterpret his quietness as neglect. You are still on his mind. Every prayer you've whispered, every tear you've cried, every question you've asked, he has heard it all. Just because he hasn't answered yet doesn't mean he won't. Sometimes his silence is his way of teaching you to trust his character more than his communication. Because real faith isn't proven when God speaks, it's proven when he doesn't. It's in the silent seasons that your roots grow deeper, your patience strengthens, and your discernment sharpens. Maybe you've been asking, God, where are you? And all you hear is nothing, but that nothing is sacred. That nothing is the space where he's rebuilding your heart. He's aligning you with the right timing, the right people, the right opportunities. The silence is not punishment, it's preparation. It's God working on the other side of your prayer, ensuring everything fits perfectly before he reveals it. So don't give up in the silence. Don't the quiet make you doubt his care. God is not gone. He's closer than you realize. He's whispering in ways your ears can't hear yet. And one day, when the pieces come together, you'll look back and realize that his silence was never empty. It was full of purpose, protection, and unseen miracles waiting for their moment to unfold. You're not behind. You're being built. The world will try to convince you that you're late, that you've missed your moment, that you should be further along by now. You'll look at other people's timelines and start questioning your own. You'll compare your progress, your growth, your success, and suddenly peace turns into pressure. But God's process is not a race, it's refinement. You are not behind schedule. You are right where you need to be for what he's building inside you. While others may be shining on the surface, God is strengthening your roots in secret. Because when he raises you up, he wants you to last. It's hard to trust that truth when life feels like it's moving slowly. You've prayed, you've worked, you've waited, and yet it seems like nothing's shifting. But delay is not failure. Just because it's not happening now doesn't mean it won't happen soon. God isn't holding you back. He's holding you together. You're not stuck, you're in training. Every season you've walked through, every disappointment you've faced, every lesson you've learned is shaping the foundation of the person you're becoming. The slower the process, the stronger the structure. God doesn't rush what he wants to last. You are being built to carry something heavy. Purpose requires preparation. Before God can trust you with destiny, he must first strengthen your character, stretch your faith, and deepen your dependence on him. So if it feels like life is taking too long, that's because he's making sure what you build won't crumble under pressure. Quick success fades fast. But divine preparation creates stability. God doesn't want you to just arrive. He wants you to endure. You're not behind just because someone else got there first. You're on a different assignment, a different timeline, a different level of grace. Comparison is a thief that will make you despise your own progress. But the truth is, God is not comparing you to anyone. He's developing you according to his divine design. He knows the exact pace that will preserve your peace and protect your purpose. You're being built slowly because what he's creating through you is meant to stand the test of time. So stop looking at how far you have left to go and start appreciating how far you've come. You've survived things that were meant to break you. You've healed from wounds that should have destroyed you. You've learned to trust God in seasons that didn't make sense. That's not being behind. That's growth. Every brick he's placing in your life is being laid with precision, intention, and care. One day, when you step into what he's prepared, you'll understand why it took this long. You'll thank him for not rushing it, for not giving it to you before you were ready. You'll realize that every season of waiting was part of being built. So keep walking, keep believing, keep trusting. You're not behind. You're being prepared for something bigger than you can imagine. The enemy attacks hardest when you're closest to breakthrough. You've probably felt it. Those seasons when everything seems to fall apart all at once, when the weight on your shoulders feels unbearable and your peace feels just out of reach. That's not coincidence, it's confirmation. The closer you get to stepping into what God promised, the louder the opposition becomes. The enemy doesn't waste energy fighting people who aren't a threat. The fact that you're being attacked is proof that you're carrying something powerful. You're on the verge of something divine, and darkness can feel it before you can see it. Right before transformation comes testing. When you're about to cross over into something greater, hell tries to convince you to quit. It whispers lies of doubt, fear, and exhaustion. It makes you question your worth. No, you're calling your faith, but the storm is not there to stop you. It's there to reveal what's inside you. You don't grow strong when the path is easy. You grow strong when you choose to keep moving even while you're under attack. The enemy knows he can't destroy God's plan, so he tries to destroy your confidence in it. But you must remember who you are and whose you are. You belong to a God who finishes what he starts, and no weapon formed against you can change that. The moments that feel hardest to survive are often the ones right before the shift. That's why you can't give up now. No, the warfare you're feeling is not random. It's a sign that heaven is about to release something that the enemy can't stop, but is desperately trying to delay. He knows your obedience, your consistency, and your endurance are dangerous to his agenda. That's why he's hitting you with everything he's got. But what he doesn't realize is that every attack only pushes you closer to purpose. Every hit strengthens your resilience. Every setback refines your spirit. When you're tired, when you're tempted to walk away, remind yourself that pressure means progress. You are not losing. You are being launched. The fire you're walking through is forging your faith. And soon, what felt like a battle will become a testimony. Don't mistake the chaos for defeat. It's just the sound of your breakthrough being born. Keep standing. Even when you're weary, keep praying, even when it feels like heaven is quiet. Keep believing, even when fear screams louder than faith. You are closer than you think. The enemy wouldn't be fighting you so hard if there wasn't something powerful on the other side of this. So lift your head, square your shoulders, and remember, the greater the attack, the greater the anointing. The storm is not the end. It's the evidence that your breakthrough is moments away. Hold on. The pressure you feel is the sign that God is about to deliver what he promised. Your story is still being written by the author of completion. Sometimes it feels like your life is stuck on a painful chapter, as if the pages have stopped turning and you can't move past what broke you. You replay the same moments, the same disappointments, wondering if this is all there is. But your story isn't over. God hasn't put the pen down. He's still writing, still editing, still weaving purpose into every line. Just because you're in a hard chapter doesn't mean it's the final one. Every plot twist, every setback, every heartbreak, it's all part of a greater story that ends in victory. The thing about God as the author is that he never writes without intention. He uses what hurt you as part of the redemption arc. He takes the mess and makes it meaningful. You may not understand the storyline now, but one day when you read it back, you'll see how every moment, good and bad, work together for something divine. What you thought was random pain was actually strategic preparation. What you thought was rejection was really redirection. What you thought was loss was the setup for something lasting. God never wastes a word in your story. Sometimes the hardest part of faith is trusting the author when you can't see the next page. We want to skip ahead to see how it ends, to make sense of what's happening right now. But faith says, I'll trust you even when I can't read what you're writing, because the one who began the story knows exactly how to finish it. He doesn't write tragedies without redemption. He doesn't allow pain without purpose. He is crafting something beautiful, even if the current scene looks broken. You are a living story of grace in progress. The page you're on may be filled with tears, confusion, or silence, but it's not permanent. The author is still at work. He's developing characters, introducing new chapters, closing old ones, and shaping the narrative of your destiny. Sometimes he even writes in pauses, those moments when nothing seems to move, because he's preparing the next act. Don't mistake the pause for the ending. You're just in between what was and what will be. One day, you'll look back and realize that the very things you wished God would erase were actually the parts that gave your story depth, beauty, and power. You'll thank him for not letting you skip the pain because it made the triumph sweeter. So let him write. Don't grab the pen out of his hand. Don't rush the process or rewrite your own ending out of fear. Trust the author. He knows exactly how your story should unfold. And when it's all said and done, your story won't be one of defeat. It'll be one of grace, strength, and divine completion, because the same God who started writing your life has already planned a beautiful ending. Stay strong, because what God started in your life, he will finish with power, purpose, and perfection. It might not look like it right now. You might be standing in the middle of chaos, wondering if God forgot your name, if he changed his mind about the promise, or if he's even listening anymore. But let me remind you, God is not a man that he should lie, nor a builder who walks away from what he began. When he starts something in your life, he finishes it, even if it takes longer than you expected. Even if the path is harder than you imagine, he is still the same God who declared, I will perfect that which concerns you. Sometimes God allows the delay to develop your strength. You see, completion isn't just about the outcome, it's about transformation. God doesn't just want to bring you to the promise. He wants to make sure you can handle the promise, the waiting, the pain, the confusion. They're all molding your spirit, shaping your heart, and preparing your character for what's next. Because unfinished strength can't carry finished blessings. He's refining you so you won't crumble under the weight of what's coming. You may feel like he's silent, but silence isn't absence, it's strategy. And maybe right now you're staring at the ruins of what once was, thinking there's nothing left to finish. But God specializes in revivals. He rebuilds what's been destroyed. He breathes life into what's been buried. He doesn't see ruins. He sees a foundation. And sometimes he lets things fall apart so that he can rebuild them on something stronger. Faith, trust, obedience. What he's constructing in you isn't fragile. It's eternal. The process may break you, but the promise will bless you. There's a reason the enemy fights you so hard when you're close to completion. He knows that if you ever see what God is finishing, you'll never doubt again. That's why he sends distractions, discouragement, and delay to make you give up before the finish line. But hear me, don't quit in the middle of your becoming. You've come too far to turn back now. The same God who carried you through the wilderness will carry you into the promise. You're not running out of time. You're running into divine timing. So stay strong. Even when the process feels endless, trust that God's hand is still on your life. Every detour is still leading you to destiny. Every storm is still under his command. Every delay is still divine. God didn't bring you this far to abandon you now. He's completing something deep within you, something that will stand, something that will shine, something that will glorify him. When it's finished, you'll see why it had to take this long, why it had to hurt this much, and why it had to happen this way. Because God doesn't do halfway miracles. He finishes what he starts, and what he finishes is always worth the wait.